Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another riveting propaganda cast from the host Imperial Dane, the one, the only Master Propaganda, off here to a bit of Communist 3 talks, and people have been requesting my thoughts and opinions. He's like, I've tried to get a replay out, but sadly haven't had much luck actually getting a replay going for it, so they also end up disabling the replay function. That required some slight fiddling about with some dev commands and couldn't have other people looking into that, so yeah. Sadly didn't get any matches out, though. Again, overall, short version, I think Communist 3 is already at this stage in the pre-alpha, and again, note this is pre-alpha, some have been saying alpha, but this is pre-alpha, so it's even rougher than that. But overall, I very much like the Wehrmacht in particular for Communist 3. I think it's overall, I think, a very well-designed faction. While again, pre-alpha is rough, again, you can see there's some issues with the textures to which they achieved to like basically smoothen out the rest, so there's obviously a lot of work to be done there in Companies 3. Also note this is an AI match, don't expect much in terms of combat, but it gives a sort of rough idea there. Building style, as you can see there's the classic Festung Europa, popularized by the Germans in the 1940s. Not so popular with the rest of Europe though. But, bit concrete structures in style of, Companies 1. There's a bit here and there. It's overall nice and, basic utilitarian. And again, brings back memories of the Companies 1 Wehrmacht, which is certainly, with all the Wehrmacht functions, Companies 1 come to a base store. But I'd say Companies 1, I think, or Companies 3 manages a better Wehrmacht than one in Companies 2. Overall, I think this is in part achieved by, looking into the basics, but also crucially applying, a more broader set of, say, gameplay design elements that gives more broader choices to the average player. For example, we've got the different field marshals. While I think the name is silly, the field marshals themselves really add, I think, a lot to the game in terms, again, of gameplay. Like, they basically modify how your entire army operates. Like, again, fortifications gives you more ambush equipment, more defensive tools, like you make better on the defense, and some like bonuses and abilities for tanks and infantry that do the same. Mechanized, infantry support bonuses between tanks. Your tanks be upgraded with armored side skirts. You get repair bunkers. Different abilities again that way. And also blitzkrieg, and then finally special ops field marshal. Again, incendiary grenades, camo netting, you can grab points faster, you get different types of munition for your infant support weapons and whatnot, so that really, adds a lot there, I think, in terms of, like, gameplay options. Just those really just adds some elements there. So, for example, I would go for mechanized here. Suddenly, once I get Veterans 1, my weapons team can actually start faster as well, and my, infantry, once we get, to Veterans 1, can simply get a combat bonus, similar to what the Panzergrenadiers get in Companies 2 when they get close to vehicles. So that adds, I think, a lot there already, and that's again just, the field marshals. Once we add further elements to this, of course, things get further, interesting with, the battle group. There's only 2 here in the pre-alpha, but again, they add a lot more here. Pick this, for example, and then, again, assault grenades become an option, bunch of submachine guns, sprint and grenade assaults, but again, like, depending on, say, your field marshal, your battle group choices, and then, of course, further influence. And then similarly, on top of this, instead of, like, being linear, like in Companies 1 and Companies 2, it's slightly less linear. Like, you got 2 tier 2 buildings, the Luftwaffe company and the Panzergrenadier company. I typically go for Panzergrenadiers, but occasionally I would go for Luftwaffe. And this again then gives you a fresh set of options there, like, path in terms of playstyle. Like me, again with mechanized, you might be more for Panzer Grenadiers and half-techs and Stugs and Nebelwerfers, but again, you might also go for Luftwaffe in certain situations, but even then, you could also like side-tech and you go for both of them. Like, there's nothing prohibiting you from doing that, for example. So again, further, gameplay decisions, choices to be had and made. Or you can, instead of going for both, you can then rush ahead for the final tier, the Panzer Company, which is obviously a bit more expensive, but again, adds some elements. So already there, I feel like in terms of design, the designers really, outdone themselves. They've really, like, pushed some limits here for Companies 3, and I think spiced up the gameplay a lot, which I really love, honestly. Like, there's just, like, I can actually play the Wehrmacht in a way I find that really fits my playstyle in general a lot more than I can in Companies 2. That's great. That's a good thing. Haven't got the A sort of going out of here. Also note the A in this case is not particularly impressive though. In builds I have played, it has also been a bit more nasty and capable of pulling up surprises. The only thing I might sort of initially describe not being a big fan of this, we can sort of transfer orders, like you basically replace a squad with another one. I feel like that one could be perceived as a bit arcadey, but also design-wise, I feel like it could create too much of a snowball effect that could create problems for the Allies. So I feel like this might be the only sort of, shall I say, potentially problematic piece of design here they sort of got in Company 3. And even that might just be me being a bit too conservative. Also with the Tier 2 buildings, you got the advanced assault tactics, which then unlocks, you know, the next stuff within the building, like the Stutz and Nebelwerfer. But in the other building, it would be the Wirbelwind and the Marder 3. And again, grenades are knocked as part of being mechanized. That said, a bit inaccurate, That on end was not. And of course, you know, battle groups here, for example, got the Tiger tank, which by the way, I should note, actually packs a punch here. It actually, like, really hurts the enemy in Company 3. It's really good. So again, like, you know, multiple choices, greater decision making, and again, just more option for playstyle. I think all of it is just looking, for me at least, to make Company 3 East like it is just an amazing game already there. And this is just with 2 factions, and there's clearly going to be more with, you know, the Brits and possibly some other 4th factions. Quick grenade here. Ow. Got that one ring in there. We go. Panda fasted. Also, another thing here, snares in Company 3, I think I handle much better than Company 2, but like, it's just like, you know, boom, permanent engine damage with a slight bit of damage. Here it's more like, you know, you do some light damage, okay. Although, initial Panther fires, you briefly stun the vehicle, but it's nothing permanent. But if there's like heavy damage, like, you know, very low on health, you can do like more permanent engine damage. But unlike Company like 2, it's not like, you know, you just easily disable a vehicle and that's it. It helps, I think, create much more engaging armored engagements compared to, I think, Company 2, where again it's just really like, just, you know, go for a pair of tank guns and then just snare up all the tanks, at which point the entire assault just kind of went, you know, sour. So I think that's another benefit here from Company 3 over Company 2.
If they're shooting at you, they're shooting at me.
And again, that's a plus. Battle group design again also cares more of, you know, the Company 1, but again with elements for Company 2, again you can sort of switch between battle groups in theory, at least by the looks of it, once that, you know, we get the full game. So you get more choice, again, more decision making, like, you know, either pick this or this or this or this. Or of course, something like, you know, like the Tiger, there's no other choice than the Tiger, for example. It's just the Tiger and nothing else. So, continuing in, you also, of course, got the breach mechanic, which is pretty cool. Definitely one of the things I pushed for was a sort of urban warfare mechanic once going to the inner group there for Company 3. Definitely one of the things I think Company 2 definitely lacked, and it's great to see that in Company 3. Grenade here, again, keep running a bit too far, but again, pre-alpha, this is the sort of stuff, you know, that's going to be like fixed out, ironed out over the coming year, I imagine. And again, point keep in mind, this is pre-alpha, there's going to be a lot of rough stuff, a lot of stuff that still needs polishing and working out. Sands, for example, there's a lot there to be worked on as well. Let's not say you can't complain about it, but just keep in mind, a lot of this stuff, whoa! It's not final, not even by a long shot. Also, I really like this, calling in some slightly higher tier infantry, but using the commander here, or battle group, I can basically sort of get them up faster in a half track too. Again, further decisions and choices you can make as a player. Got the 2-to-1 here, while we can upgrade it with an anti-tank rifle and an anti-tank gun as well. So there's again decisions they've made. This comes from the Luftwaffe company, which features a lot of other neat stuff. The gunners also have the merge ability, which was again something the Germans actually did. Like, they just merge, you know, troops together to like keep them fighting. If for some cases in Normandy would have like Reichsarbeitsdienst and Luftwaffe troops being like merged into an infantry division, so that way, you know, make up for losses. So not there. Plus, another thing I might as well just point out is the uniforms are great. I mean, just look at this compared to Company 2, you know, and Company 1, with the uniforms are at times a bit pajamas like. This is like proper German uniforms here. We've got some nice grenade satchels on the Pioneers, though. Worth noting, no grenades! Come on, Relic, if you're going to add grenade satchels, give them some grenades somehow, but yeah. Again, I really like the uniforms too. Some really nice details there. We got the Stuk here again. Really cool details like, you know, kit on them there. Was not uncommon for like tank crews and such, like, you know, kit on there. And again, thanks to mechanized, I can upgrade them with armored side skirts. Huzzah! I mean, honestly, I don't ever see myself going for anything but mechanized, but ultimately, again, there's the beauty. Like, for others, it'll be always fortified. Some for special operations. Again, for others, just gonna be like, you know, what they feel like at the moment. So again, lots of great stuff there. Plus, you also got the auto-reinforceability, which again, some players use a lot, others not so much. Again, it's a great choice. An additional fun thing, and I really love about the Stuk here, it has high explosive shells. It's a timed ability, but it's great. It's like, you know, switch me out to high explosive shells for the stun, except again, it just lasts a bit, and then, you know, it switches back automatically. But again, it's great. A pair of Stuks firing high explosive shells can really break up an allied blob, for example, I find. So, I mean, just high explosive shells and the Stuks just me alone enough for me to just want, like, you know, play Companies 3 forever, if I'd be honest. And again, we can see the combined arms ability kicks in once the Stuk is another vehicle close enough there. So, again, I can really only at this point describe myself as already a big fan of Companies 3 and just really wanting to switch over to Companies 3 from Companies 2 because it just feels like a perfectly executed evolution of Companies 2 and Companies 1. And again, the Wehrmacht just feels like, you know, a well-oiled machine compared to what the Companies 2, which just kind of felt like Companies 1's Wehrmacht, but without a lot of the things that make the Companies 1 Wehrmacht work. But here, we actually get like a lot of that stuff back with some really cool addition, which just again improves gameplay options. Of course, the Americans have something similar, and of course they work differently, but you know, again, they do have some of the stuff, but again, you know, I'm imagine most people want my opinion on the Wehrmacht because that is what I'm most known for playing. And we also, of course, get the Starstruppen, the new Wehrmacht late game option there. Kind of like Obersoldaten from Companies 2, but with a very powerful grenade assault. Right, the blend cover grenade there as well, and of course, with again a combined arms bonus, and they look really cool too. Maybe the uniforms could be slightly darker there, but you know, really cool if they have that, shall we say, Ardennes assault Panzer Grenadier wipe. You know, you sort of look at that, you know, Hansket the Flambeer for me. This is sort of the type of Panzer Grenadier we're looking there. So that late war Wehrmacht grunge look. And again, they can pack quite a punch, and then of course there's like, you know, doctrine units like Fallschirmjägers, which aren't being shown here obviously. So overall, again, I'm just really a big fan of Companies 3 already, despite, you know, the pre-alpha, you know, warts and whatnot and blemishes. I still think it's just overall superior, and again, I think it's going to look even better, of course, with more polishing time, you know, improvements to the graphics, but also just more gameplay polish and more faction. I think it's just going to be an amazing game. So if really you wanted my opinion again, it's short. I love it and I want more of it. It's going to be a sad day for me when I can't play Companies 3 for some time again. And overall, I'm just looking forward to like also cast Companies 3 because again, I think it's going to be very exciting to cast and, you know, comment on. And offer a lot more variety as well for me to, like, you know, actually comment on as well. So, I mean, I'm not sure what else to say at this point besides just repeat myself. Also, they get a grenade assault as well here, but it's a slightly more expensive than this one, and this one is just fast and packs just more punch. So yeah. Overall, again, Companies 3 pre-alpha already here despite its issues. I think it's great. I think Relic has absolutely outdone themselves with the Wehrmacht design here. I think it is absolutely amazing stuff they've done. And while I do wish the Zoom was less out there, also, by the way, what I'd like to know, I think in most cases the map design is also really good. I mean, the maps are just much better designed. It's less choke-pointed design. There's more room for maneuvering, more room for flanking, all the good stuff I like, and also like to cast. So again, that's also a plus. I mean, again, it's just so many pluses here. And again, like, the only real major issue you can find is, like, you know, stuff like this, which just feels slightly out of place to me. But again, that's just me. And then, again, obviously, there's going to be some slight balance issues. But even that, like, you know, despite a few issues there, I would say the game even at this stage feels fairly well balanced. I mean, again, barred up riflemen after a certain point can feel a bit much. Even against, might say, for, you know, very late game Starstruppen, but that's about it, really. So, I mean, yeah. Also got Martyrs here, and you can see the Wirbelwind. Yeah, it's really going at it too. You can see there, temporary sort of snare there. Nothing significant. Again, it can quickly wear off and then can just get out of there. In this case though, too late, there's the Wirbelwind and the Marder. The Starstorm as the captain. Showing their part for Deutschland. White. So yeah. Again, not entirely sure what else to say at this point. I feel like I've sort of said what we can really say at this stage. Again, game is great, and you know, but at the same time, if you feel like you need more evidence, sure, you know, again, try and provide more with future, you know. I imagine alpha and beta builds down the road. Again, I really want to cast this game and, you know, play more of it. But again, for now, yeah, it's got like a solid 2 thumbs up for me. Also, merge here. Now we got gonna be a punch, gonna be there. Man. Well, Starstorm out because again, I absolutely love them, and I will also miss the Starstorm. I will absolutely miss them. Easily one of my favorite infantry units in Company 3 already. So, yeah, again, sorry about for the ramble there. Just, you know, again, people like constantly ask me about it, just like, you know, try to put my thoughts into it. But it just feels like, again, I'm just, you know, so enthusiastic about it. But again, I provided the best analysis I can. Again, you got plenty of options, permutation in terms of gameplay and playstyles, which again I think is a huge thing. Then again, something even that comes when it comes to Wehrmacht never really touched upon. But again, with the Field Marshal system and the new battle groups, I think you can really just play the Wehrmacht in a number of ways, and you know, find something that suits you, or just switch playstyles how it suits you. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what else I can further say to this. So hope you got this. Hope it got you, you know, at least half as excited for Company 3 as I am, because again, if you're full excited, I mean, that's great. But again, if you like, you know, aren't, then it's fine as well. But as far as I'm concerned, Company 3 is going to be the absolute future here, because again, I think it's a already great game, and yeah, I just want to switch out at this point. I mean, if Bradley were to just release it now, I'd be quite happy, but obviously they should not release it right now. They should polish it more in your things up more. But you know, I'm just looking forward to the next, you know, alpha or beta build there, honestly, at this point. That's again really what I want. So yeah, I think that sort of really covers my thoughts for now. Again, so big thanks to all my fans as always. Hope you keep enjoying my videos, and you know that, and I hope you're all looking forward to Company 3, and again looking forward to me being able to finally cast it properly. And again, if you are, you know, like, share, subscribe, you know, press the bell button, consider donating via PayPal or pledge on Patreon, links in the description for that. This is Imperial Link signing off, and see you all another time for another video. Cheers!